All right. What is up, you happy hustlers out there? Kerry Jack here with my amigo and CPA and CEO of Blue Peak Financial, Sean Pfalzgraf, everyone. And we are going to bring you 3 tax tips that can save you money. Now, I know very little about taxes. Let me just tell you. That's why I'm bringing in Sean. And he's here visiting. We're shredding some pow, some snowboarding. And he's super knowledgeable on taxes. So we thought, hey, let's talk taxes since it is coming up. 2020 was a little bit of a weird year. Let's say that. It was, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
So we're going to talk about specific 2020 tax tips and beyond. But before we dive in, let's give a quick intro for you, Sean. Tell people a little bit of your credentials and a little bit about your backstory.
Sure. Yeah. So backstory, I started out my career as a CPA, started working for Purvis Grain Company, doing some government audits and some tax work. And I worked for a not-for-profit, did some small business accounting and setup, and then transferred to a Big Four public accounting firm where I really got deep into the bigger side of business and learned a lot about different tax strategies and also accounting and ways that little tidbits that I can bring to you to help bring some value. And now I own my own business. I'm the CEO of Blue Peak Financial, and I find my passion in helping out entrepreneurs, mission-driven entrepreneurs that are looking to make a difference and are passionate about what they do, and any value that I can bring from the tax side and small business accounting, I'd love to help out and give you, a little bit of knowledge that hopefully you can apply.
Yeah. Hey, I'll just tell you straight up, man, you changed my whole business structure. Like diving in to my financials, really understanding how to save money ethically, of course, but really structuring my finances has been a game changer. Mm-hmm. And I just think it's super valuable for a lot of people out there, who are probably in my similar situation, who don't necessarily realize just how much money you spend on taxes. It Sure. is the biggest expense of your life over the duration of your life, more than kids, more than, automobiles or home purchase or anything. It adds up, that, as they say, to more of
20-30%. Yeah. I mean, I think the thing is it's scary, right? It's scary to look at your finances. And a lot of times it's that thing that you can kind of put off, but getting that visibility and a little bit of clarity and starting to work with the numbers, it's not so scary anymore. Yeah. So it's really, kind of opens yourself up to say, hey, how can I better invest in my business or in my life? And where can I take advantage of some tax savings in certain areas, and just be, in general, a little bit more knowledgeable so you can make better business decisions as you go along.
Yeah, that's what it's about, is really educating yourself, becoming financially literate, and realizing that the tax code is set up to actually save people money who actually read it and apply it. Like, you see the richest, most profitable companies in the world pay the least amount of taxes, if any. What did Amazon pay last year?
Right.
0. Like, come on, it's crazy to not take advantage of these tax tips. And I want to dive right into it, Sean. Let's start with the first tax tip especially for small business owners, for entrepreneurs, for self-employed individuals. This is for you, but it also is for you, even if you are getting a W-2.
Sure.
Talk to us about that number one tip.
Yep. So the first tip relates specifically to 2020. I want to talk to you about the Refund Tax Credit. And for those of you who don't know what the Refund Tax Credit is in April of 2020, the government gave out a stimulus check to anybody that qualified, and the amount was $1,200 for the first payment in April. And then also, if you had a qualified dependent, you got another $500 for each dependent on top of that. So most people received that refund credit back in April. I mean, everybody got the money and spent it on what they needed it, because COVID was very prominent
Toilet
at that
paper,
time. Yeah, exactly. Anything to keep yourself going. Yeah. But there was also a second tax credit that came out in December of 2020. And that amount was for $600. And a lot of people actually didn't receive that in your bank automatically like you did the first one. So the first tip is that is a tax credit. If you didn't receive it in January, February, I would check your bank account just to make sure that you didn't receive it. But if you did not, that is a $600 automatic credit that you can apply for your taxes on 2020 and save yourself $600.
Yeah. So double check your, bank statements and really make sure if you did or did not get that tax credit that could be sitting out there for you. If you don't mention it, they're not going to do it for you. Right. You got to actually put it on your tax, your income stat, whatever. What's it called? The 1099 form or? Yeah,
you would take it on your 1040. Most people will be doing a 1040 if they're a small business. It depends on your tax structure for your business.
Okay.
But it is a qualifying deduction that you would take. And if you are using a tax software, just pay attention to that because they will likely ask you a question. If you're using your tax accountant, if they're not asking you that question, then I would ask them because they should be. And if you're doing it by hand, well, then this tip is specifically for you because this will help you.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about number 2. What's the second tax tip?
Yep. So the second tax tip is really your deductions, right? So what are the must-know deductions that you need to track and understand for your taxes for small business owners? So the first one is your mileage. So any business-related mileage, you get a deduction for 57.5 cents for every mile that is business-related. So just make sure you fine comb what you were driving for your business. Think about anything that correlates with what you might be doing for business work and track that and keep record of it because it is a deduction. The second one I want to talk to you about is your home office. So a lot of people were working from home this year, especially. So the square footage of the office that you dedicate towards working on your business is a tax deduction. So you can do a simplified tax deduction up to 300 square feet. If it's anything more than that, then I would talk to a tax accountant or do a little bit more research because it can get a little bit in the weeds on how much that amount is. But that's the second tip. And then the third is your 1099s for contractor employees. So if you are paying contractors for work, if you pay them over $600, then you need to send them 1099s and you needed to do that back in January. So just double check, make sure that you've sent all the required tax documents out because you don't want the IRS coming back later and asking questions. So
don't want that.
Yeah, just make sure you're paying attention to what you're spending your money on. And if they are contractors, then take that deduction. The other one is related to HSA. So an HSA account is basically a savings account for medical expenses. So through your health insurance, you should have, if you have a qualified plan that allows you to have HSA, you can take a deduction on your taxes for the amount that you contributed to your HSA. And that's specific to business owners. So if you have a W-2 and you're doing it in HSA, your employer has likely taken that out. So I would just double check. It's just specific to people who have their own business and are sole proprietors.
So, and you also mentioned something very interesting, guys. If you are paying, let's say, international contractors like virtual assistants, I got 4 of them, and you are wondering, do I send them a 1099? Do I not send them a 1099? What's the answer there, Sean?
That's a great question. So if you are using virtual assistants, you do not need to send them a 1099. I would double check with a tax accountant just to be sure, but you are not required to send them 1099s if you're outsourcing work to a virtual assistant or other work, website design or something. It's the outsourcing that is the kicker there.
Internationally, though, right?
International.
Isn't that the
correct? Yeah,
they have to be international. If they're U.S. based and you paid them over $600,
you got to send them a 1099.
Yeah. So make sure you do your due diligence here, guys. We're all about happy hustling and really living a life of passion, purpose, and positive impact, right? But we also want to do so wisely and by the book, you know, so we got to always operate with integrity, right? Scout's honor. And, you know, you don't want any little thing like this to come back and bite you in the butt.
No.
So, you know, do your due diligence, ask a tax professional like Sean, and really, you know, take it serious, because you work hard for your money. You really do. I know you do. You know, we all do. And you don't want to give it away for just negligence.
The additional stress of, you know, having to deal with something just because you forgot to send out a form. It's a simple thing. And the awareness of knowing, hey, I do need to send out 1099s is just something to have in the back of your mind and to be aware of. So just trying to raise awareness to those things, and hopefully they can help you out.
Yeah. Now, what is the third tip? Because you kind of did tips within a tip for number 2, which was great. Let's get into the third tip.
Okay. So the third tip really hits home base for me. And that's, I'm a business owner, but I need to separate my personal from my business. That is critical. And it's the best way to start getting a handle on your business finances, to understand where are you investing your money, and where are you spending your money. So the first thing I would say is, if you don't have a tax form for your business, I would consider setting up an LLC, or you can talk to a tax accountant about doing an S corp. But usually the easiest one, and the one I recommend the most, is an LLC. So it's just specific to your needs. And what that is a limited liability corporation. And you'll just go on to your state website and you'll file a form with them, and hopefully they will send you something in the mail, and you pay a small fee for having that tax election, and then that's it. The next one would be separating your personal from your business money, and the best way to do that is separate bank accounts. So I would go to a bank if you don't already have separate accounts, and I would set up an account in that business name, and that will be your initial start to really separating things. And then the second thing is, if you like to use your credit cards and you love racking up the points, everybody wants their hotel points, their flight points. If you have 2 credit cards, I would dedicate one credit card to business expenses and the other to personal, but you're creating that separation there, which will really help you understand where you're spending your money. Because when things start to get commingled, you don't really know where you're investing. And it's important to know what your return is on not only your time and your effort, but the money that you earn through your business as well.
Yeah, great points. And that's just, full transparency, guys. This is something that I really struggled with, because there was a lot of commingling with my personal accounts and my business accounts. And it wasn't until Sean, basically reworked my entire, he cracked the whip too, but he reworked my entire strategy. And I set up business accounts, I set up business credit cards, and then I have my personal accounts and my, personal credit cards. Then, we really took it serious, and then we, started using QuickBooks. Before we were using, Personal Capital and Excel spreadsheets. But since QuickBooks came into the picture, which I highly recommend, as, using a software like QuickBooks, if you really want to take your business to the next level, it's worth the money, guys. Spend money today that can save you time and money tomorrow. That's when you're making smart investments, when it saves you time and money tomorrow. So that was a key difference for me. Really separating my business and my personal made, this year's taxes a lot easier than last, And although we might look alike, he obviously knows so much more about Texas. And I was just seeing us we kind of look alike here, don't we, with our little beards, But the point is, this guy's a subject matter expert. He's damn genius. He worked for one of the best accounting firms in the entire world. Listen, take this advice and implement it. It's worth your time. It's going to save you money. Okay. So that's my call to action.
Yeah. And I think the thing is just starting. You got to start somewhere. Everybody has to start somewhere. And Carrie mentioned QuickBooks. I also recommend doing Mint. And the thing about Mint is it's a Intuit owned, so it's a QuickBooks owned program, but it's free. You create a login and you can link your bank account to Mint and it's an electronic tracker of your expenses. So it won't go back and look historical for last year. QuickBooks will do that, but it's something simple that you can use and implement just to start. You always have to start somewhere, and then you build on top of that, right? So you want to build the muscle, build the habit of just thinking and understanding, where are you spending your money? Where are you earning your money? I haven't talked about that so much, but looking at what is most profitable, or what do you enjoy the most, and how can you increase those activities, and maybe stray away from some of the ones that are causing you stress and not earning you that much money. So it's two-sided there. So
the 80-20 principle, right?
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
I mean, you get
80%.
Yeah. You get 80% of your result from 20% of your effort, guys.
Pareto principle.
So when you really get clear on your finances, and you have someone like Sean who can say, hey man, your digital course is crushing, stop spending time doing coaching calls, you know what I mean? Or something like that, then you can reallocate effort and energy and finances accordingly. So being financially literate, listening to people like Sean, hiring professionals to take your business to the next level, that's what it takes really to happy hustle, that life that you want and that you crave, and that freedom that comes with the finances, right? So I know you got a bonus for us. Before you do, run through those 3 tax tips one more time.
Okay, so first tax tip is around your tax refund credit for 2020. So you should have gotten 2 credits. Check your bank statements. The first one was in April for $1,200. The second one was in December. You probably would have received it in January, February, $600. A lot of people didn't receive it in their bank account, so it is a tax deduction for 2020. The second one is deductions that you should know about and you should take advantage of. If you're a business owner, that would be business mileage, square footage in your house. You need to send out 1099s to contracted employees, and your HSA deduction if you have insurance that allows you to contribute to an HSA. And the third one is separating your personal expenses from your business. Create a tax shelter, set up an LLC if you haven't already. You can use a system like Mint, that's mint.com, and that will help you at least start from today onward on tracking your expenses and your revenue in a little bit more detail.
Boom. Ooh, hot fire. I mean, hot fire. You crushed that recap. Damn. All right. Give us the bonus.
The bonus. Okay. So I think the bonus is,
I mean, we talked about like 17 tips in its entirety, but I know we talked about, a little bonus for the happy hustlers out there.
Okay. Yeah. So I think the biggest bonus that I can give is setting up that Mint account. I'm going to reiterate it because it is really important. Just start from today and build on top of that. And I think the best thing that you can do is start setting goals. So if you start setting goals to check, your finances and reclassify at least once a month, start to get a better understanding of where you're headed. And maybe you look at certain things. I would advise looking at your marketing expense and think about how much you're spending on marketing versus how much it's generating in sales. That's a key one that you can look at, that a lot of people end up spending a lot of money and not seeing a lot of return. The other is, when do you bring on new employees, right? So it's not a simple answer for that one, but understanding your workload and when it might be time to hire a virtual assistant or somebody to help out, and then how you would go about, doing that. I would recommend doing the virtual assistants because it is a great way to limit your workload and focus on the things that you enjoy doing most with your business.
Boom. Love that. I mean, take these tips, guys, implement them in your business, and really take this stuff seriously, because it's going to save you money. It's going to save you time, and you are going to keep more of what you earn. And that's that's the goal. That's what it's all about. Where can people go to find out more about you, Blue Peak Financial? I know you have a generous, offer to really help anyone who shoots you an email, which is it's huge. Just give us some links.
Yeah, so go ahead and shoot me an email if you'd like a consultation. I'm happy to provide some advice, talk to you, give you a quick consult session for an hour and just get to know you a little bit, where you're at.
An hour? You sure you want to give away that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There you go, guys.
And my email is Sean, SEAN, at Blue Peak Financial. So BLUEPEAK financial.com. And the thing that I like the most is people that are driven with their business, and they are in a place where they don't really understand what they need, right? The first thing I want to do is bring you to base camp, right? So we're starting at the bottom. We don't know where we're going. We're going to base camp. And all that means is I just want to help you understand what your needs are, where you're at, take a snapshot of where we are now, and then start thinking for the future. So, goals, strategy, check-ins. So those things are important to build the muscle and help you, coach you, and learn along the way.
Boom. I mean, that is quite the generous offer. I wasn't expecting that to be just straight up with you. I was like, okay, I'll just give his email for a couple, questions answered. But an hour, guys, take action on this. I mean,
please do.
Like, you can get your question. If you can't get all your questions answered in an hour, you got more problems than just taxes, my friend. But seriously, take action. Sean at bluepeakfinancial.com. Use these tax tips to really save yourself more money and time, and leverage your business in a way that really does allow you to keep more of what you earn, because you earned it, right? And you're out there happy hustling. We all are. And you really, you need to just become financially literate on these tax tips. So any final words for anyone out there, Sean?
Keep happy hustling, keep doing your thing. I mean, passion, purpose, really, really go at it. So I'm happy to jump on here with you. I hope I brought you some value. So I mean, you sure have for me, man. And I appreciate you. I know you're part of the Happy Hustle Mastermind, so we get to connect regularly. Right.
And you're deep in the trenches with the Happy Hustle business. And I urge each and every one of you to find a Sean. It doesn't necessarily have to be Sean. It could be, based on
I second
his
that. Just find
workload.
a Sean. It doesn't have to be me, but bring yourself a little bit of clarity, and I think it will alleviate that thing that is the most scary to a lot of people to really dive into.
Heard that. Amen. That's great advice. So we appreciate you guys. If you got some value, like this, give us a share, shout us out online, let us know where you're listening to, what was your favorite takeaway. And, that's really how we continue to spread this message of really happy hustling, your dream reality, full that blissful balance, both in your personal life and your professional life. So we appreciate you, each and every one of you. We are out. Peace and love, y'all.